Title: How One Man Went from $2 to Financial Freedom. Imagine checking your bank account and seeing just 1 cent. Then you look at your second account and it has only $2.26. That's it. Now ask yourself, how would you survive? This wasn't just a bad day. It was the lowest point in Grant's life. He had just lost his job. With no income and no backup plan, he had no choice but to move back in with his parents. In America, moving back home at 24 often feels like you failed. Grant felt exactly that. Every night at dinner, his parents asked the same painful question: "Any luck finding a job?" And every night, he quietly answered, "Not yet." Over the previous 2 months, he had applied to more than 200 companies. He updated his resume. He wrote cover letters. He did everything people tell you to do. But not a single offer came. Not one. One afternoon, completely overwhelmed, Grant lay down alone in an empty field and stared up at the sky. His mind kept racing. "I went to a great college. I earned good grades. I did everything I was supposed to do. So, why is my life falling apart?" Then he remembered something his father had always told him. Just get a good job. Even if you don't love it, you'll get used to it. So that's exactly what he did. He accepted a high-paying job he never enjoyed, simply because it seemed like the safe choice. But now, that safe choice had disappeared. He was unemployed, nearly broke, and completely lost. What hurt even more was watching his friends move ahead. Some had started successful businesses. Others were thriving in their careers. Meanwhile, Grant was back in his childhood bedroom, relying on his parents just to get by. That was the moment everything changed. Instead of feeling sorry for himself, he made one bold decision. He set an outrageous goal. He promised himself that one day he'd build a net worth of $1 million. Not because he wanted to impress anyone, but because he wanted something far more valuable: financial freedom. The problem? He had absolutely no idea how to get there. But he refused to quit. Over the next 5 years, Grant became obsessed with learning about money. He read every personal finance book he could get his hands on. He studied investing, saving, building wealth, and how money actually works. He worked different jobs, started small businesses, made mistakes, lost money, failed more than once. But every setback taught him something new. 5 years later, he reached his goal. He had built a net worth of more than $1 million. Then he asked himself an even bigger question. If I can do this, how can I help other people do it too? That's why he wrote the best-selling book Financial Freedom, a proven path to all the money you will ever need. Inside the book, Grant shares the exact steps that took him from nearly broke to financially free. And today, we're going to break down those lessons. Starting with the 7 stages of financial freedom, a practical roadmap that anyone can follow to build lasting wealth. The 7 stages of financial freedom. According to Grant, financial freedom doesn't happen overnight. It's a journey. And almost everyone who builds lasting wealth passes through the same 7 stages. These aren't just theories. They're practical milestones you can use to measure your own progress. Let's break them down. Stage 1, clarity. Everything starts with one simple question. How much money do you actually need? Most people say they want to be rich, but very few can tell you the exact number they're aiming for. Let's say your lifestyle costs $5,000 a month. That's $60,000 a year. Now ask yourself, if you wanted the option to stop working someday, how much money would it take to support that lifestyle for decades? Until you know that number, you're driving without a destination. Financial freedom isn't just an idea. It's a target. And every successful financial plan starts with knowing exactly where you're headed. Stage 2, self-sufficiency. At this stage, you're paying your own bills without relying on anyone else. You're covering your expenses. You're living within your means. And you're standing on your own 2 feet. It may not feel glamorous, but it's your first real financial victory. Money stops being a constant source of stress and becomes a tool you control. Stage 3, breathing room. Now something exciting happens. At the end of each month, you actually have money left over. You're building savings. If an unexpected expense shows up or you lose your job, you won't panic immediately. You have a financial cushion. For the first time, you can breathe. Life feels a little less stressful. You still have to work, but you're no longer living paycheck to paycheck. Stage 4, stability. This is where your financial foundation becomes solid. Your high-interest debt is gone. Your credit cards are paid off. Personal loans are under control. And most importantly, you have an emergency fund that can cover at least 6 months of living expenses. That safety net changes everything. Unexpected problems no longer become financial disasters. You finally feel secure. Stage 5, flexibility. Now imagine having enough savings to cover the next 2 years of your life. Think about how different your decisions would be. You wouldn't stay in a job you hate just because you need the paycheck. You wouldn't feel trapped. You'd have the freedom to change careers, start a business, take time off, or simply make choices based on what you truly want, not what fear forces you to do. That's real flexibility. Stage 6, financial independence. This is the milestone Grant reached after about 5 years. Your investments are now generating enough income to pay for your everyday living expenses. Your money works for you. You no longer have to work to survive. If you choose to work, it's because you enjoy it. Because it gives you purpose. Not because you need another paycheck. This is where financial freedom becomes reality. Stage 7, abundance. Finally, there's abundance. At this stage, your wealth grows faster than you can reasonably spend it. You no longer worry about money. Instead, you focus on what truly matters. Spending time with your family. Traveling the world. Exploring your passions. Giving back. Living life on your own terms. That's the ultimate goal. Not just having more money, but having more freedom. Now the big question is, how do you actually move through these 7 stages? According to Grant, the answer isn't just about earning more. It's about changing the way you think. And that's where his most powerful wealth principles come in. The mindset that builds wealth. Grant believes that financial freedom doesn't begin with your bank account. It begins with your mindset. Here are 3 powerful principles that completely changed the way he looked at money. Principle number 1, your time is worth more than money. You can always earn more money, but you can never get more time. Once it's gone forever. Think about this. If your time is worth $100 an hour, would you spend 30 minutes driving across town just to save $5? Probably not. Yet millions of people waste hours every week on things that add very little value to their lives. The most successful people understand one simple truth. Protect your time. Whenever possible, automate, delegate, or outsource low-value tasks so you can focus on work that creates the biggest impact. When you start treating your time like your most valuable asset, every financial decision becomes clearer. Principle number 2, know your freedom number. One of the most popular retirement guidelines is called the 25 times rule. Here's how it works. First, calculate how much money you spend each year. Let's say your annual expenses are $80,000. Multiply that by 25. That means your financial freedom number is about $2 million. Why? Because a well-diversified investment portfolio has historically been able to support withdrawals over long periods while continuing to grow, although returns are never guaranteed. The important lesson isn't chasing an exact number. It's knowing what you're aiming for. A clear target makes better financial decisions much easier. Principle number 3, let compound growth do the heavy lifting. Compound growth is often called the eighth wonder of the world. Here's why. Every dollar you save and invest today has years, sometimes decades, to grow. The earlier you start, the less money you actually need to invest. But compound growth only works if you consistently avoid unnecessary spending. Many people overspend on 3 things. A house that's larger than they truly need. A car that's more about impressing others than serving a purpose. And expensive dining or lifestyle habits that quietly drain thousands of dollars every year. It's not about never enjoying life. It's about making intentional choices. Every dollar you don't waste today becomes another dollar working for your future. Small investments, repeated consistently, can eventually become life-changing wealth. That's the real power of compounding. And once your investments begin growing on their own, you're ready for the next step. Building multiple streams of income. Build more than one income stream. Grant says relying on a single paycheck is one of the biggest financial risks you can take. If one income source disappears, what happens next? That's why he believes everyone should build multiple streams of income. For him, real estate became one of those income streams. One strategy was buying undervalued properties, renovating them, and selling them for a profit. Another was purchasing rental properties that generated monthly cash flow while tenants helped pay down the mortgage. Over time, those assets continued producing income even while he slept. But real estate isn't the only option. Today, there are countless ways to build extra income. Start a small online business. Freelance your skills. Create digital products. Launch a YouTube channel. Invest in businesses or index funds. The key isn't choosing the perfect opportunity. It's starting with one. Learn the skill that pays forever. If there's one skill Grant believes can change your financial future faster than almost anything else, it's sales. No matter what career you're in, you're always selling. You're selling your ideas, your skills, your experience. Even during a job interview, you're selling yourself. The better you communicate value, the more opportunities you'll create. That's why many of the world's highest earners are exceptional at sales, negotiation, and communication. These skills compound over a lifetime, just like investing. The real lesson. Grant's story isn't really about becoming a millionaire. It's about proving that your current situation doesn't determine your future. There was a time when he had almost nothing. No job, almost no money, and no clear path forward. But he made one decision. He refused to give up. Instead of waiting for life to change, he changed himself. He learned. He invested in his knowledge. He kept taking action even after failures. And step by step, his life changed. The same principles still work today. Get clear on your financial goals. Spend less than you earn. Invest consistently. Build multiple income streams. Protect your time. Develop valuable skills. And most importantly, stay in the game long enough for compound growth to work in your favor. Financial freedom isn't built overnight. It's built through thousands of smart decisions made consistently over time. Start today. Because every day you wait is one less day your money has to grow. And years from now, you'll either be grateful that you started or wish you had. The choice is yours.